Good morning. I wanted to put this out here timely. It's been a while since I posted a video, but real estate and commissions. So we're not really able to talk about it in full detail. There's a lot in the news and the media right now going on around that topic. But just for some people that don't know, and I was one of them before, real estate agents really get paid most of what they earn through commissions. And commissions can be almost anything. It can be a flat rate. It can be a percentage tied to the sale. There could be bonuses involved. Anyway, through the ups and downs of the market, there's always something a little different. But what the Lenza team, and I know other teams have been doing for quite some time, and we go back years, is we set it. So long story short, some folks would pay a certain percentage, and representing a buyer, you would know what that is. They used to keep the consumer in the dark about it, but for, I want to say, the last 3 years, that's public knowledge. So when you're looking at houses, you can see, if you're working with a buyer's agent, in this case, you can see what your buyer's agent is earning commission-wise. Now, that commission chunk isn't what agents actually get paid. And I know everyone out there who's an agent is chuckling at this part because they get a fraction of that. First of all, it normally gets split with the broker, other teammates, an admin. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that, and each team can be set up a little differently, but that is kind of how it is. So you see a number, then it's a chunk of it, and then it's a check, more or less, or direct deposit to the actual agent that helped you during the transaction. And then, just a reminder out there, we're all self-employed. We're paying our taxes, we're paying medical, that's earnings. We're paying legit taxes on it. It is very interesting to see, especially after these last 2 years when many sales have been down, actually what your true take-home pay is. And then not to mention all the deals that folks get helped with and they fall apart at the last minute. And rightfully so. There's some bad things that happen. I mean, I've worked with people and clients that have either passed away or have lost jobs. And we are, I think we're akin to attorneys in a lot of ways, but we don't charge by the hour. So I'm really not trying to be humorous here. It can be very, very tough out there. And everybody comes to it, the consumer or the client, with a different preset idea of what a real estate agent should do for you and kind of how they get paid. And the funniest thing that I remember over the years is they thought we all got paid 6%. So, if someone sells a $300,000 house, they think we're getting an $18,000 check. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So the way it is set up in the United States now, for the most part, there's two agents involved. One that represents the seller and one that represents the buyer. So I'm happy to elaborate on this. I just wanted to get this out there quick. But what I've been doing for a while is really just having a set amount. So if it comes from one side of the table, great. But if it doesn't, then the client I'm representing pays the rest. And the main goal around that is essentially, I see houses all the time. And other people in this industry see houses all the time. So I could drive by one right now. That could be offering 3%. Great. The one down here could be offering 1%. So it really does start to cause a problem because this is how a lot of real estate agents make the bulk, if not all of their money to support their families and go down that path. So, you really want to help your client. So if one house is offering more of a payday than the other one, we're all humans. And I really, really, really have tried to get away from this. And sometimes it backfires. And it's all what people know. But, if you're going to sell one house and make $10,000 or sell the other house and make $5,000, I mean, it's human nature. Even if people kind of separate it, there's some steering there. And I don't want to use that word loosely because I don't believe, the cream of the crop and the best agents and the ethical agents do that. So once again, I got away from that entirely. And this might have been 2018. We have it set in our contract exactly how this plays out. And everything's in there and it's very straightforward, but the missing element is sometimes the consumer doesn't exactly know how much is coming from the other side of the table. And we try to make that crystal clear. Everyone we partner with and work with through title, through mortgage, even through insurance, they know this. They are very much transparent, and that's how everybody should be. But it is tough, and I feel with a lot of the commission lawsuits and a lot going on that many agents and teams and even brokerages from higher up are going to kind of set up a new normal or a new template for agents to follow or mimic. And so far, I haven't seen that on a large scale. I do believe it's coming. I really do. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I've seen it too with some discount brokers. And I'm not knocking anyone. Everybody has, their place here. They can all represent clients in their own way. And, there's not one size fits all. So I understand that, especially being with many brokerages over the years. I understand the value proposition. The interesting part, though, is sometimes the client does it, and sometimes people just say, hey, what are you going to list my house out? And they go 6%. And they go, okay, that's somewhat of the norm, and we're not going to get into that. It varies. We're not supposed to discuss this, but you can Google it. And then, someone goes, oh, well, I'll list your house for 4%. Or get this, I'll list your house for 3%. Well, if you're listing somebody's house for 3% as a listing agent, you still got to offer some type of compensation to your co-op or your partner agent on the other side. And that's called the buyer agent. So technically, if you're only getting 3% in, some people will split it right down the middle, 1.5 and 1.5. Some people will take 2 and only offer 1%. And I've seen it time and time again where I never want myself, my teammates, anyone I'm associated with to ultimately be sitting there trying to help someone make pretty much the biggest financial decision of their lives, purchasing a house, because I view it as a true asset, and have something in their back of their mind thinking, oh, well, I don't want them to get 123 Main Street because I'm personally going to make less money. So that should never be part of the equation. When I got into real estate and had some rental properties, that is always what I told my clients. Sure, I don't want to go around and see 500 homes. Nobody does. But at the end of the day, we're going to make the right decision and the ethical guidance as a true fiduciary and let our clients know that, hey, if you really don't want this house or you got to back out or something happened, here's what you need to do. Not doing everything in our power to keep a deal together when it's not in the client's best interest. And I can tell you, obviously, that happens. When people are looking at it as a check coming to them and money they need to support their family, their lifestyle, pay their bills, it gets dicey. So the root of this, at least for the Lenza team and myself, is put all that aside. That is not what we're trying to do. Here's the contract, here's what we signed, this is how it is. If you want to go after for sale by owner and it doesn't pay anything, well then, basically paying that amount is on you, the buyer. I'm happily going to go after anything. But for sale by owners definitely are a category. It gets a little challenging out there. And some of the, I want to say, better for sale by owners, they offer a commission right in there because they know the game. They've probably spoken to other real estate agents, have them in their family. And, that's how it plays out. But I am helping somebody right now sell their house. And I got to tell you, they hit the jackpot. Not just with me. They found somebody in a neighborhood, and I won't get into the details, that is selling a $450,000 house for essentially $400,000. And to me, viewing it as an asset, I'm all for helping people out, and I truly believe that. But they're avoiding real estate agents, and that's fine. But even with that being said, they're not selling their house as high as it could be. And even with the fees and whatnot, they're probably still leaving $20,000 or $30,000 on the table. And, that is hard for me to kind of fathom that people would do that, especially now because they're backing into it and they're asking for help, with the paperwork, with the settlement attorneys, with everything. So I'm still involved in this to help them. And again, happy to do it, but getting paid a grand total of $0 for my time, for my knowledge, for my expertise. And, that's how it plays out sometimes. People go down that path and then they reach out. And I have a lot of friends, one that I'm picking up a sign soon, where, it's just not, it doesn't make sense to them. you know, what they're paying for or what they get out of a real estate agent. And, you know, there's a lot of good information out there, but once you partner with, you know, a solid agent and they truly get it, you'll get it too. I mean, some of the biggest compliments I received are helping people that were ex-agents themselves. They know the game. They know how it's played. They know the negotiations, and they still hire me, and they still pay, you know, I want to say a premium or a higher amount, because they know that if I'm in negotiations and I can get them $5,000 or $10,000 more for their house, not only does that make up for anything that I'm charging personally, it can make them more money. So that's kind of how it is. It all comes down to the net. You know, you can sell a house for $450 and pay a ton of fees and walk away with X amount. Or you could sell it maybe a little less, pay less fees, and maybe make the same or a little bit more or less. It should all be brought down to math at the end of the day. And I just feel that there's emotions involved in this, and there's sticker shock, where people are like, oh, I'm paying 6%, or back in the day, 7%. This person's gonna sell for 4%. That's a better deal. And I just urge people to really look at the bottom line, look at the big picture, and look at the numbers. And, you know, being a math person myself my whole life, that is exactly where I gravitate and what I go to. And if you know, work with another agent wherever you are that kind of has the same mentality, you'll typically end up making more money on, you know, the sale of your house. And if you are helping buyers, you know, there's a lot there where negotiations come into play. But that's long enough. I'm gonna make a more detailed video with pictures and numbers, but this was on the fly, so I just wanted to share. Any questions, feel free to reach out.